This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Coffee-fueled stories. Coffee fitness unicorn. Coffee fitness unicorn. Hello. It's me, Coffee Fitness Unicorn, your pocket DJ, and you're listening to Coffee Chats Podcast, a show where storytelling and coffee hang out. Today's special guest is Shelly Cole, author of Blue Highways. You might know her best as Madeline from Gilmore Girls. In this episode, we talk about hopeful stories, mental illness, and of course, Gilmore Girls. Thank you for listening. Go forth and be magical. Hello. It's me, Coffee Fitness Unicorn, your pocket DJ, and you're listening to Coffee Chats Podcast, a show where storytelling and coffee hang out. This week's special guest is Shelly Cole. Hello, welcome to the show, Shelly.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on.
This is awesome. So I've got your book here, Blue Highways.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, and you read the book, so you know where I got the title.
Yes, for sure. But I didn't actually read. So there's Blue Highways from the guy who actually traveled.
I know.
Blue Highways, yes.
Yeah.
So let's kind of deep dive into this.
Cool.
So I'm going to be honest. I cried a couple times.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I think that.
It's very moving and very sad, but the one thing I have to say is, like, when I closed the book, mm-hmm. all I thought was resilient. That was the one word that I just was like, wow, she has been through so much.
I think that one of my friends told me that the way she read it, that there is some stuff that's pretty intense and sad. But as the book evolves, it evolves with my evolution as a spirit and the hope and what I've put all of that into and grown from. And I teach children acting to kids, and it's super important to share stories with young people, the coming generations, so that they know that they're not alone. It's remarkable how alone we often feel in life. Right.
So I'm going to start with my notes here. So Blue Highways is raw. And so thank you for sharing. So that's literally, and there's Monkey.
That's Monkey.
So I'm going to start with the question. What made you want to share your story? And yes, please.
Oh, okay. This sounds like a two-part question. Should I answer this part of it?
Well, so what made you want to share your story? Of course, I wrote these questions. So how did Blue Highways come about? Mm-hmm. And then the prologue is beautiful. So that kind of was like, when I first started reading, I started taking my notes. And that's kind of, I was like, okay, let's deep dive into this. So we talked about the title, but how did the book itself come about? Why did you want to share your story, this particular part of your narrative, so to speak, now?
That's a lovely question. I was an actor for many years. My first really paying job was on a very well-known television show called Gilmore Girls. And I worked on that show for about 3.5 years. I was part of the original cast. And so we have these fan fests every year. This one is in Maine. It's in Agunquit, Maine, and which is apparently, I've never been there, an amazing coastal town. I cannot wait to get my lobster on.
Yes, lobster rolls.
Oh, I love it. Anyway, I'm judging in a lobster eating contest, by the way.
No way.
Yeah. So last year, at when we did this, we were in Connecticut there. Last year when we did this, we had a panel called In Omnia Paratus. That is a term from Gilmore Girls,
Yes.
the Yale years. Did you ever watch the show?
Yes, I'm a big fan. So I actually have Gilmore Girl questions after, because I really want to focus on your book, and I want to focus on your story, and then I would like to do Gilmore questions at the end. So but please keep sharing. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So no, that's all good. So during the Yale years, she was part of this secret society, I think, called, and their slogan was In Omnia Paratus, which translates to, you probably know better than me, I think it translates to like, just, I don't know the exact wording that transfers, but basically it's do the things you're afraid of. Like, do the things you're most afraid of, live life. So we were doing this panel that was the theme of the panel. So people were standing up and asking questions, and we were, all sharing stories. And one girl asked me, hold on, I have a carrot in the back of my mouth.
Please do not choke on the show, please.
There we go.
Take care of you.
Thank you. And so somebody raised their hand and said, I have a book that I need to finish, and I'm so proud of it. But why would anybody want to read it? And I need to finish it. And I said, here's one for you. I've had a book in the works for a long time, but I always thought, why would anybody want to read my stories? So I said, how about this? You finish yours and I'll finish mine. So I decided to do that. And Nick Holmes is also goes to these fan fests, and he's a wonderful human being. He wrote the foreword.
Yes.
He's a wonderful writer. He's a poet. He has lots of poetry books, not lots, a few. Anyway, and very sexy poetry books. I sent it to him first, and I sent it also to Devin Schwartz, who also played Bill in the Yale years. Devin said, it's not done. You need more stories. Nick said, it's done. Volume 1, boom, done. Because that's what I felt. And he said, it's perfect the way it is. And I said, that's great. Thank you. And my friend Ella Spice, who is a huge supporter of the Gilmore Girls Fan Fest, and she comes with her son every year, and they have, we watched him grow up. We've watched him grow up. And she did all the pencil drawings.
Yes.
She really captured Monkey. Monkey is my soulmate, truly. She's my favorite person, place, or thing in the whole wide world. And even more than my boyfriend. And she is, she's going to be with me, by the way, for the Fan Fest and the play that we're doing. And she captured Monkey so well. She captured that little mouse so beautifully.
Yes.
Jack, my stuffed animal.
And the deer that came back. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that story.
Yes.
So these stories, there's a lot of really like hopeful stories peppered in there. Yes. There's some tough ones too. Yes. And mental health has been important to me for many years. My father, as you read in the book, my father was bipolar 1. He died in 2004. He was bipolar 1, and he was, if anyone doesn't know really what bipolar disorder is, it's when you have extremes. Bipolar, extreme like manic highs, and very like the depths of depression. I've had to talk a shotgun out of my father's hand on one occasion. And, manic highs where he thinks he's a brain surgeon, or he thinks he's a Green Beret or a hospital administrator, all of these really lofty positions in life. And dealing with that in the 80s and 90s by myself was very, very difficult and very painful, trying to navigate, first of all, what is this? Like, people didn't talk about this stuff openly back then.
Right.
I think, like, if you have suicidal thoughts, And I'd love to, not now, but I'd love to mention the play that we're doing because it's so important.
Yes. I have book, play, Gilmore
Beautiful.
Girls, like as the structure.
You're amazing.
You are.
And by the way, I'm not a self-promoter, so this is hard for me. But hey,
No worries.
yeah, and I think it's really important to help them understand that mental illness, mental health, it's a very real thing. Monkey is my service animal. She has been helping. I've had panic attacks since I was 5 years old, debilitating panic attacks. And she, as opposed to an emotional support animal that helps you after you're in the midst of it, she actually can detect when I'm starting to feel a panic attack.
I was going to ask that, so thank you for
yes, absolutely. Yeah. We every once in a while we do a little guest teaching in the at this one particular middle school when they have testing, because she's great at supporting kids who are having like kind of a meltdown. There's an autistic kid there. They go by they that is very, very deep on the spectrum, and they go through lots of like they need a sensory break, and they do self-harm. They've had a lot. It's they have a case manager that works directly with them, and whenever we're in the building, we always make time and we take care of them during their sensory break. Monkey's great when she sits in their laps if they're having a hard time getting through their testing. And for me, she can detect, like, if I'm in a classroom with them and the kids are going bananas, and screaming and stuff, she'll bark. And she'll bark. They'll say, "Why is Monkey barking? She's a service animal. She shouldn't bark." And I said, well, I'm going to give you 3 guesses as to why she's barking. Go ahead. It's because all of you are creating chaos for me, and I'm starting, my heart rate is rising. I'm starting to get panicky. I'm shaking, and I'm trying to catch my breath. And she's letting me know that I need to calm, breathe, that I'm okay, etc. People just, I think that telling these stories and sharing these stories is just a further progression of opening up the subject of mental health to coming generations. It's so important that they know that it's okay and it's real.
Yes,
it's an invisible disease or illness.
Yes. So, and I love that you say that. And so, I'm sorry about your father, by the way. You did a great job describing how you got through that process. And I lost my mom to, she had a lot of mental issues as well. And I actually was her, when she would start to have a panic attack, she would call me. And she would hear my voice and I would talk her. She was never on the ledge, but I always just use that as the example. I would talk her off the ledge. And then I would be like, "Okay, Mom, you sound like you're doing better. Let's take this, let's just keep going in this direction." So same thing, like I was going to say, it's that overstimulation. And so like with Monkey, right? Like you can sense the heart racing, you can see the eyes, like you can sense that. And so I agree with you. It's very important to be able to notice that in yourself and notice that in others, and to want to help bring that back down, for sure. So like with children, that overstimulation, because I get the same way, like kids and the chaos and the crazy. I'm like, I need a monkey when I'm in chaos with kids too. Like it's a lot.
Well, in the public school system versus my coaching acting at my studio, it's like those kids want to be there.
Yes.
The kids at school.
A different story. Yes.
Yeah. So if it's getting them to chill and relax and
focus, right, and to stay with you. So let's tap into that. So I actually have a question on here. Tell us about Monkey, which you have, and then I literally have in here, how did you two meet?
Okay. Well, I was living in Los Angeles back then. I met her in 2009. I decided that it was time to open my heart to a doggy. And I knew I wanted a small, black, female, short-haired dog. That I knew. So I got a pet finder and I'm like, boop, 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 boop. And then she's the first picture that came up. And it's this picture here. I'll show it to you. It's just ridiculous.
Have you noticed how Coffee Fueled Stories doesn't have any ads? That's because I work tirelessly to keep this show alive. After 3 years on my own, I've decided I need to ask for your help. I've never asked anyone to subscribe. I've never asked anyone to leave a review. I've never asked anyone to rate the show. And I've never asked anyone to pay to listen. There are a few ways you can help support the show. I've created a Patreon page, Coffee Fueled Stories, and a subscription section on my podcast website. It's simple to support and help me keep my dream alive. Just click the link in the show notes to set up your paid subscription option. It's that easy. Thank you for your support. Oh my God. Yeah, adopted.
So that was her, and I said, oh man, I got to meet this dog. So she was at a local, she was being fostered, and so by this animal shelter, the Amanda Foundation there, and she was being fostered, and so I made an appointment to go meet her and found out her story. Somebody in this foster lived actually in my neighborhood. That somebody on trash day, right next to the bins on the curb, left her in a bird cage. And she was just a baby. And I know, people, but hey, she and I both hit the jackpot when we found each other.
Yes.
Because we both live our best lives with each other.
Good.
And when I first met her, she was like, who are you? Yeah, okay, whatever. And so I said, okay, I'll give her another shot. So I went home and I said, of course, I'm not deterred. So I want to meet her again. So I met her again, and she was a little bit warmer. She had huge trust issues.
Yeah.
And she was a little warmer that time. And I was like, okay. All right. Well, you don't smell bad. So I said, listen, people, if you'll let me, I will give her a great life. And they said, well, okay, we got to do a home visit. And I said, great. So I did it all up, right? Bed here, bed there, got her crate for training purposes, got her toy, everything. And so she gets out of the car, and I can't wait to meet her. And I see them coming up the walk, and I open my door, and she let her off the leash, and Monkey just went boop, 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 jumped up onto the bed, couch, and just settled in and said, okay, bye-bye. You can leave me here now. I'm here. I'm home.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Totally. She just is the love of my life.
I love seeing the pictures. And then you posted a video on Instagram, and I think you were feeding some squirrels, and she was laying on the bed. Yeah, she was laying on the bed, and she kind of looked like, this is a pretty good gig. Like these guys have it made. It was really cute.
So I thought I had a gay squirrel couple. So I thought this was years ago. Phil and Jerry are their names, and Phil got knocked up. So I realized that Phila was a girl, so we call her Philomena now.
Philomena.
And she's gone through several, pregnancies, and her babies come. But she can open. I have this janky doggy door that I hooked up.
Yeah.
And she can open it.
I saw that on it. You just shared that, and she opened the door, and I was like, the squirrel just came through the doggy door.
Yeah. And she'll eat right out of my hand.
That's awesome.
I know.
That's so awesome.
And I put water out there for them, and they have a pretty good life.
You had mentioned in your book about being an animal lover, and it's obvious, it's clear. And the story of the deer, all of that. And it was very moving. And I too am an animal lover. And I had a guest on the show, and he shared something that is really cool. And I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's an app and a website, and it's doesthedogdie.com. Have you heard of that?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So, now movies love to kill animals and babies in movies now, which is like, that's the line you are never supposed to cross. Like, I love horror. I love all of these scary thrillers, but there's one line you don't cross. You don't kill babies or children, and you don't kill animals. And they are doing all of that now. And so he shared doesthedogdie.com. And so we were watching Walking Dead, and there's a dog in the story, and I literally went
Daryl's
straight.
dog.
Yeah, Daryl's dog.
Yeah.
And I was like, if they kill dog, I am gonna be so pissed.
They haven't.
So I Googled it. I went to doesthedogdie.com.
Yeah.
And it said the only thing that people find annoying was his name is Dog.
Mm-hmm.
But so far the storyline is that nothing happens to the dog. And I was like, hallelujah.
I think the fans will be up in arms.
Right? Like,
that's not happening.
I mean, they kill so many things and just in horrible deaths. But I was like, not the dog.
Remember when Lizzie died? Oh my God.
But
the dog? No.
Right? So, yeah. And they have an app now too. I think I might have to download the app.
So what am I looking for on this app or on this website?
So it takes you to the website, and then you type in the movie. So you pick a movie, and it will tell you if whatever animal is in that movie, if they die.
Yeah,
so
like I can't watch Marley and Me. I'll never watch that movie.
Oh my God. Okay.
I've never.
No, I didn't know what was going to happen. And then somebody spoiled it for me, and they told me what happened. And literally I went, I was like, I'm never watching that. Never watching it. No, absolutely not. So yeah. So, like I said, I think I will need to, download the app. Cause, did you just watch Prey, the new version of,
look at that chick.
Awesome.
She's like,
so cute.
Nuts, yo.
She's like, hey, how's it going? That is so cute. That is so cute.
Sorry. Okay, did you ask? You were gonna ask me something.
Yeah. So the new Predator movie, Prey. There's a dog in there, and so I went straight to that website, and I like typed it in, and I was like, okay, not gonna. I try not to do spoilers on the show, but
so that's what I'm giving you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, let's talk about something else then.
Sure.
Let's talk about. Okay, so two other real quick questions I wanted to ask you about. I did want to see, and I tried to watch Pray for Rock and Roll.
Ooh, you'd like that.
But I was unable to find it on any streaming service. So, but I do want to say kudos to you, because you did mention in the acknowledgments that you did learn to play drums for that movie.
Well, specifically, I learned how to play 9 punk rock girl band songs.
Okay, so I'm wearing
love the movie.
I'm wearing my Cult Electric t-shirt today.
Awesome. I wonder where you can find that. I wonder if it's
okay. I was really bummed, because I really wanted to see it, because again, I didn't realize that you had learned to play the drums until I read the acknowledgments, and I was like, oh, I would love it. So yesterday I literally spent like half the day trying to find streaming services so I could see it. So I could see you playing the drums.
Prime Video. Oh no, it's not. It's not on Prime Video.
Yeah, the trailer is. I watched the trailer like 20 times on all of the streaming services, but I wasn't unfortunately able to actually find the darn movie. So, but nonetheless.
Oh well.
The coolest part.
If you ever do watch it, let me know what you think. I think
I will. It's definitely a movie right up my alley.
Okay, cool.
Right,
yes.
And so all I have to say is I love the fact that you learned how to play the drums for punk rock songs, because my mom said it was a phase. I'm 52 and I still love punk rock music. It hasn't left my soul. So kudos to you for that.
Thank you. That was one of the hardest things in a beautiful way that I ever had to do for acting.
Oh man. That's like method. That's straight up method. Like you learned it. You lived it.
They hired an amazing drum coach, Malcolm Cross, and he hired. I would just fling my sticks across the room and scream. And he'd very patiently walk across the room and pick them up. And he's like, why do those bitches have to play so fast?
Do you still play? Like, can you, like, if you saw a drum set?
I can keep a beat.
Very cool. That is so cool. I love that. The
Thank
drums is, I always wanted to play drums, and I never got to because my mom would never allow that type of noise in the house.
Loud.
But that's okay. That's okay. I get to live vicariously through others, and just enjoy the music.
Enjoy the music.
Exactly. So the play. So we're kind of jumping to your play.
Oh, real quick, you can
yes,
find
yes.
it on Amazon if you look. It's
Yes.
Shelly Cole
Yes.
and Blue Highways. It comes right up.
I will I put the links in the show notes.
Cool.
So your episode will have the links to you and to your book.
Awesome.
Yes.
But yeah, let's discuss this awesome play.
Yes, please.
Do you want me to?
Yes, please.
Okay, so it's called A Right Before I Go, and it is written by Stan Zimmerman, who was one of the staff writers on Gilmore Girls. He also wrote for Roseanne and what's that other freaking Golden Girls? He wrote for Golden Girls. Anyway, he's a wonderful person. He comes to all of these fan fests, and he wrote this play about. Let me just see if I can sort of. If there's a blurb. It's basically he's taken here. Actually, I'm going to read this really quick. Announced the addition to with Virginia Madsen is also going to be joining us. Nick Holmes. The cast is myself, me, Nick Holmes, Virginia Madsen, Devin Schwartz, and Stan Zimmerman. That's where it stands right now. And it's Right Before I Go is a suicide awareness play highlighting the raw struggles of people in all walks of life that have died by suicide. It brings together their last words, also some letters from survivors of suicide, including people, celebrities, veterans, children, LGBTQ, all kinds of mental health issues. And it is, it's at Seedling, like a seed pod. Mm-hmm. It's seedlingevents.com is where you can look at the dates, but we have our first performance in Algonquin, Maine at the Leave It Theater, and on October 3rd. This is the very last day of the Fan Fest. And then we move on to, October 2nd. And then we move on, we have a performance in Manchester, New Hampshire. We have two performances in Woodstock, I think, New York. Wilmington, Delaware on October 7th, Washington, D.C. on October 8th, and October 9th, we do our last performance in Baltimore at the Chesapeake Shakespeare Company, which sounds so cool. But it's letters they're goodbye letters. Virginia Woolf's is in there, Kurt Cobain's, as read by Courtney Love. So many, a transgender woman from, I think, Seattle, who just could not deal with her transition and just never felt safe in her own skin and finally just decided to end it. And some survivors of this as well. And as I said, I think that mental health awareness is so important. It has to be able to be talked about.
Yes.
Instead of shrouded in shame, which it was when I was young, and navigating the mental illness of my own father, and just to, and when I did my first Fan Fest, somebody said, who are you, Team Jess or Team Dean or Team Logan? And I said, I'm Team Jared Padalecki. And I said, the reason why is because he was towards the end of his very, very well-known show, Supernatural, with Jen Snackles, 17 years, for goodness sake.
Oh, yeah.
17 years and 22 episodes a year. That's a lot of episodes.
That's a lot.
One of my students, a transgender kid, he says, man, getting through that show almost killed me. Anyway, so I love that. So anyway, I said I'm Team Jared because he has gone through, he suffers from debilitating depression, and they shut down production. They would shut down production, say, go take care of you, go be with your family, take care of yourself. You're okay. Don't worry about it.
Wow.
And he very openly talked about this stuff. Now he's on the show Walker, Texas Ranger Walker. And he very openly discusses this. And I'm very proud of him for doing that, because that is a major show that so many young people watched and still do.
Yeah.
And to have somebody like that, come here, bubbies, to have somebody like that talk about it, and have young people and generations, come on, sweetie, talk about, hear that. And she's making herself very comfy there.
Oh, very so, yes.
With her bear. So having that shit, I think, is really important.
It really is. And I think that talking, so it's kind of like, you hear the saying, standing on the shoulders of giants, right? And it's in reference to, literature and art and things of that nature, right? We kind of, now, because we have suffered, and I say I'm Gen X, I'm totally Gen X. So we suffer a lot in silence, right? And now we finally get to a point where we're like, I'm not going. And I feel very punk rock about this. And I think that's why punk rock for me always, it resonated with me, because you scream about what you're frustrated with. So if you're frustrated about the system, you talk about it, you scream about it, you try to change it. And I think that's very important now. And so the fact that, you are sharing your stories with what you went through, and like I said, but at the same time, also the resilience, you bounced back, you were able to have a career, you were able to be successful, you want others. And I also think that because we suffered so much, we don't want others to experience what we have gone through. And that's why we share and we talk about these stories, and we say, look, life can suck, life can be hell, but guess what? There is a silver lining. You can survive it. You can get through it, and we can do it together. We can help each other. Yes, please.
Well, suicide is a really big topic for me, because of the kids I teach. And I had 2 kids some years back come to me kind of right around the same time and talked about how they had both attempted suicide. And they came to me personally. And first and most important thing I do is check in with their parent. And then I asked them, would you be willing to, or would you feel comfortable telling your story to our class, to us? And they both did. And this was shortly after Amanda Todd had taken her life. Amanda Todd was a Canadian girl. Her letter is actually in our play. And I thought, how weird this is coming back to this, because I remember seeing her video on YouTube and feeling desperately sad for this poor girl who took her life because of the bullying that she'd experienced. And both of these students had come to me with the bullying and subsequent suicide attempts. And so they were okay they felt comfortable telling their story. So we decided as a class to make a suicide awareness video. And they each told their stories just like Amanda Todd did, on white, note, whatever. And she kind of like in Love Actually.
Yeah.
When God, what's Andrew
Lincoln? Yeah.
Oh, so hot.
Yeah.
Anyway, when he told his story to her towards the end, to Keira Knightley's character, and that's much like Amanda. And so that's what we did. Nobody speaks in the video, but we each girl told their stories that way. And we also had kids holding up those kind of signs with facts about like how many kids per day commit suicide, what are the statistics, lots of statistics. And we put it to the Sarah Bareilles song Brave, and it's really powerful. It's really powerful. If I can find it, I'll send you the link to it. It's on YouTube somewhere.
Okay,
but
I can add that in there as well.
I mean, no.
Okay.
I'll send it to you.
Okay, perfect. But I really would like to ask you the Gilmore Girl questions.
Yes, let's do that.
And then I'm calling it, instead of not rapid fire questions, but if you're okay to kind of do like quick answer questions.
100%. Let's do it.
So the I'm calling it a presentation, but I don't know what you would call it for lack of a better word. But the And I also think of In Excess in the music video where he's doing the board,
I
with
remember
the
that.
words.
Yep.
Uh meditate, mediate,
Meditate,
the
mediate.
mediate, yeah.
I think the song is called
Alleviate.
Mediate.
I think it was called Mediate. So
Right.
I
It
was
was a
also
great song.
I was thinking I had both of those kind of in my head as you were
Yeah.
talking about that. I was like, that's so cool. And but what I was getting at was when
I
you were
don't care.
talking about that, I was thinking about his music video. That was the first time that we had that concept where you had the whiteboard where you wrote on it.
Yeah.
And then in Love Actually, they took it, again to the next level. And so I really like what you did with your students. So basically, that's a very long-winded compliment. So,
oh, thank you so much.
on that note, since we've changed it from very heavy, and that was the other thing, I was really hoping that because your book is very raw, and I did cry, and I did feel connected to you through this storytelling, and that's what I tried to do with this podcast, is I tried to connect through storytelling. That's how we as humans can connect and share. And so the work that you're doing is exactly that. So
that's what I tell my young actors all the time. Your job is a storyteller.
Yes. And that's how we, you learn how to understand other people, and you realize, okay, if they do have the shipping container worth of baggage, how do we unpack that? How do we unpack that together? Yeah. And so that was, the beauty of your book was we are unpacking Shelly, and yeah, there was some laugh out loud stuff in there. I loved, the Civil War toilet. I don't know if you want to talk about that, but I loved what you did, and I applaud. Not that I believe in defacing property of things like that, but that was very punk rock. What I'm getting at is that was very punk rock of you. So I really did appreciate that. So
well, Mr. Clench was not a very good man.
No.
And it's funny that they have a memorial to him down there.
Right. Oh my gosh. So on that note,
eating a Civil War toilet.
This is what I think of your Civil War toilet, sir. So I love that you did that. I just have to say, I just love that I was like, go Shelly!
Thank you so much. What was that televangelist dude down in Texas? He was on the road from Dallas to Denton. And he had a big church. Some huge televangelist, like snake oil salesman.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I stopped there and I peed on his front porch. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. I went down a Google rabbit hole. I was reading, it had to do with civil rights. I was reading a book, and there was I was reading Malcolm Gladwell's David and Goliath. I love him. And he was talking about the police officer who allowed the protesters to, he was the one who said, release the fire hoses on the protesters. So there was a guy who did I peed on his grave.
Yeah.
And he literally told you the whole blog about because this guy is a POS. I try not to cuss a lot so I can get away with having clean. But he was a piece of shit. And this guy blogged about how he did all of this and peed on his grave. And he even took pictures. And I was like, good for you, sir.
Totally, man.
Good for you, sir.
Yes, indeed. We listen. I have no regrets about that at all.
That's one of my favorite stories. So
thank you so much. It is funny.
It is funny. Not the part how you got to that point, the part about how you recovered. And so the recovery, and that's what I'm saying, like the resilience and the fact your friends, the people that took you in, and
brothers.
Yeah. And so, and then the other thing is, you are very brave in two ways for sharing this story, number one. And then number two, going on the Blue Highway adventure by yourself and doing what you did. All I kept thinking is, holy freaking crap. Like, I wouldn't do that. Kudos for you for doing it, but
Thank you. Well,
I
that
wouldn't
was
do
the
that.
90s. I mean, I would never recommend hitchhiking across the country these
Oh,
days.
no.
Oh my gosh.
I can't believe you did that.
Well,
Like, holy
I
crap.
did. I got this tattoo
Yeah.
in Boise, Idaho.
I have on here about I was going to ask you about the tattoo because you mentioned it, and thank you for sharing.
Welcome. You're welcome.
I'm going to do a screenshot of that and be like, and this is the tattoo we talked about.
Yeah, pull my leg up over my head. Oh God. Okay.
So thank you for sharing these stories. I really appreciate it.
I listen, I appreciate so much your reception and of them, and I'm very much thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing, because like you said, I didn't know what I was in for, so I kind of felt bad. Like, I sent you the picture and I was like, hey, and
Oh, it's good.
Like,
I love that.
And then I started reading and I was like, oh shit, this is a little, I was like, it's not like, hi girl, but
hey girl, hey, I'm
right?
gonna read your stories today. No, listen, I have not in the slightest bit. I said it's very difficult to offend me.
And that's not what I'm going for. That's the complete opposite. That's not what I want at all.
No, I love that. I don't see them as sad stories, to be honest with you. I see them very much as like little bits of my journey. Mm-hmm. And like, for instance, the story about my father patrolling the parking lot in his underwear and a shotgun, and me trying to talk the shotgun out of his hand, etc. If you put a spin on that, you could easily make that into a comedy.
Yes, very much.
You totally could if you put a spin on that. Because when I tell that story, I like my friend Kevin, who's one of the two brothers of mine.
RV brothers, yes.
Yes. He's like, I want to play your dad in a movie.
That's awesome.
It could easily be like a. Do you remember that movie back in the day, Raising Arizona?
Oh my God, I love that movie.
Like something
Nicolas
like that.
Cage, yeah.
Nicolas Cage and Holly Hunter. Yes. I think John Goodman is in it. Maybe I can't remember.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, that would be like it would be a movie like that.
Okay. I'm right there with you. I'm in. I'm totally in.
Cool.
So I will see Pray for Rock and Roll. I'm gonna try to find that.
Okay.
Then the other one that I thought was very heartwarming was Village Barbershop. Again, I didn't get a chance to see that. I know we didn't.
I don't know if you can find that anywhere either.
Saw the trailer for it. The trailer looked really cool, and that was like, I love barbershops, by the way, like, because I have short hair, and so in the Air Force I used to always go into the barbershop and get my hair done on base. So
thank you for your service.
Thank you. And so it was a lot of fun. So I was like,
I loved filming that movie. We filmed that movie in Reno and Napa. And most of it was in Napa. It takes place in Reno. But I loved filming that movie. It was one of my favorite acting experiences I've ever had. I mean, Pray for Rock and Roll is as well, and having the big premiere at Sundance Film Festival was amazing. But the experience of working on that film and the people I worked on that film with, and, to be a lead actor in a film is amazing. Yeah. My co-lead was John Ratzenberger, who played Cliff on Cheers and does all the voices for all the Pixar movies. Right. And then going around to film festivals for that, I won the Best Actress at the Newport Beach Film Festival. I mean, I was shocked. I mean, like, this was a huge film festival with lots of movies with lots of stars in them. And how in the world did I win that award? I don't even know. But anyway, I did. And I was like, what? And I didn't even know it at the time. They told me like 2 weeks later, because they had to judge. Anyway, so it was such a beautifully sweet, kind movie about two lost souls who kind of find a home with each other.
Yeah, and I think those are probably like my favorite types of stories, heartwarming stories. And I'm all about a redeemable character, whether it be in a book, or like, especially like two lost souls who have found a way to like weave themselves to help each other. and like I also see your book as that as well, especially because you're talking about, mental illness and then the play. So they kind of all tie together. What you're clearly what you're doing is, you're making an impact, and you are definitely like sharing your stories, and it helps. It reaches, it resonates with people. So your book, there was that resonation and resilience. So I'm all about alliteration right now.
Cool. I love the English language.
Right? So speaking of alliteration, Gilmore Girls. You ready for some Gilmore Girls?
Heck yes, let's do this.
All right, cool. So first question: Do you drink Do you drink coffee like a Gilmore?
I will drink about 3 cups of coffee a week, maybe.
Okay.
I'm an Earl Grey tea with honey and lemon person.
Yum.
I like that personally. Coffee does not help with the panic attacks.
It does not. It does not. It does not.
But sometimes I'll drink a cup of coffee. Yesterday morning, I woke up and Michael, my boyfriend, heard me tootling around up here, and he said, "Would you like some coffee?" And I thought, sure. I gotta have cream and sugar in it, though.
Yes, there's cream and sugar in mine. I'm drinking I was saving my second cup. So, because I knew that we would be talking today and I wanted to have my second cup with you. So I've been savoring it all morning to chat with you, to have it. Okay. So next question. Does anybody else on the show, do they drink coffee like a Gilmore?
I mean, I think just getting through that, filming it that was the hardest show in terms of just the time commitment and the dialogue. That was the hardest show I've ever worked on. The hours were very long. Amy Sherman Palladino did not accept anything less than exactly word for word, and 17-hour days were a regular occurrence.
Oh my gosh.
It is not fun driving home on Saturday morning at 9:30 from set, being on set all day and night. It sucks. And so people had to drink coffee to get through those days.
So everybody on set was drinking coffee like a Gilmore.
Oh, ruling.
That's crazy.
And you could ask anybody and they'll tell you exactly that.
That's awesome. And I love that you mentioned about like the timing of the show. The first time I was very behind on it. I think I came in like somebody, I can't believe that I never had heard of it before. And so was when I was working, and I went to my coworkers and I was like, "Hey, I'm looking for some new TV shows. Does anybody have any recommendations?" And they're like, "Well, you drink a lot of coffee. You like coffee. Why don't you try Gilmore Girls?" And I was like, "Okay."
It was on Netflix?
It was on Netflix, yeah.
Got it. Mm-hmm.
And so I gave it a shot. I came in the next day and I was like, "Oh my God, how have I never heard of the show? Like, where have I been?" I felt like I was under a rock.
Well, you tell that person thank you.
I do. I thank her all the time because she loves cheese and coffee as much as I do. And she
tell her Madeline says thank you.
I'm going to send that. I'm going to do a little sound bite and I'm going to be like, "Hey, Madeline says thank you."
Take a screenshot of me right now.
I will. Okay. So
with your phone.
Right here. Oh, okay. I'll do that with my phone.
And then just text it to her. Tell her that I say thank you.
Okay. So here we go. I'm taking a screenshot. Got it.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. All right. Let me get back to my notes. All right. Okay. So, okay. So you already explained what kind of coffee you drink, if you do drink it. Okay. So the question, what kind of coffee does Madeline drink?
Oh, I mean, she has a French press.
Yeah.
She doesn't work it herself. Somebody else does. I've decided, so this is alliteration for you. I'm a random rambler, so I'm going to go off on a little direction here real quick.
Bring it.
I think I kind of pictured, here's how I pictured Madeline and Louise ending up. I kind of pictured Madeline and Louise marrying each other and having
a Boston marriage
and having a son that of course they're raising as gay. And his name is Sebastian or something like that, something French. And Sebastian makes her coffee for her. And, she only drinks like French coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And and she loves a little espresso with a little like coconut milk frothy and boom boom, or maybe a little almond milk. She's watching her dairy intake these days.
Yes, that's so awesome. One of the things that I love about Madeline, she was the nicest of the mean girls, if you will. And I hate to use the mean girls, but just for conversation's sake.
Yeah.
And it was always so funny because she was like, and why do we not like her? Like, she just, she just wants, she wants to like everybody. And she's like, there's nothing wrong with anybody. And she just wants to hang out with everyone. Yeah. And so the fact that was the character that you got to play is like really cool. So
she evolved into that.
Yeah.
She wasn't originally written like that. She evolved into that. But I think that she was never written as snarky or mean.
No.
But Amy really gave me that gift of letting Madeline evolve into kind of a bridge a little bit with Rory.
For sure. Because obviously, Paris warms up, obviously the character, obviously not like the real person, but because at first, when we get exposed to Chilton. By the way, do you have a Chilton shirt? Do you still wear like Chilton shirts?
I have my original Chilton uniform, shoes, socks, everything.
No way.
Yeah, Brenda Mabin was the wardrobe, like the big wardrobe stylist. Valerie Campbell was the key stylist. Brenda used to give me so many of my clothes, but she said, you take that uniform and you enjoy it. I think I can still fit into it, maybe. But I have a lot of those. I have the pink leather bangles, the pink leather jacket I wore to the bangles. I have a lot of those.
How cool is that? I was going to ask you, do you have a workout routine? That's actually one of my questions from back up at the top prior to the Gilmore Girls conversation.
Yeah.
But do you work out? Get out.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Been training in boxing and kickboxing for the last, 6+ years.
Holy crap. That is so cool.
Yeah. And Nick Holmes also boxed. Well, he used to box. He's a trained kickboxer. And so I'm going to bring I have MMA gloves. So I have my fingers. I'm going to bring my gloves with me, and we're going to do some pillow boxing. He's going to.
Oh, that is so excited. That is so cool. You can't see it, but because like I said, we're in the middle of a move. But my wife and I, she's a boxer as well. Wow. And we have pads and we have gloves. We have MMA gloves. We used to have a punching bag when we lived in Colorado, but we couldn't bring it with us because this place is so small. But like we love and she used to
I had mitts.
Yeah, we've got mitts. So cool. Do you tape your hands? Like, when you do boxing, do you like tape up your hands and stuff like that before you put the gloves on?
No, the gloves that I have fit very snugly, and they have they're fingerless gloves, but they fit really snug, not too snug, but really snug here, so they keep me very protected. Nice. And then they have a wrap here that comes and I can tighten it as much as I need to, and it keeps my wrists, and then it has a metal bar here that they're amazing gloves. They don't even sell them anymore. I have an alert on eBay whenever they come around. I'll just snatch them up.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's something about boxing. It's not only aerobic, but it can be cathartic, especially if you have and I hate to use this example, but because I don't promote violence. However,
self-defense is very important.
I was 23 and my grandmother had just passed away, and no, I'm sorry, I was 33. I was 33. My boss was 23, and I was working and going to school full time, and my grandmother had passed away, and so I was crying at work. My boss had caught me crying at work, and I was just kind of, I was sad. I was devastated, and it was my first loss, and she was like, I need you to get back to work. And so
I need you to shut your stupid face.
And so I don't want to promote violence. However, I was taking karate. I was taking Kempo.
Yeah.
And so that night I went to my sensei and I said, Sensei, I am very angry right now, and I'm afraid I'm not going to have good focus with you. And he said, tell me what happened. So I explained what happened. He said, okay, I want you to do this. You get 10 punches per hand on Bob. the dummy, and that's your boss. I want you to get it out, and then you are all mine. Get it out. And so I was like, okay, sweet. So I did, I did my I punched his face. I punched it, and I said, can I have some more? And he said, sure. And so I punched his face, I punched his chest, and then I felt great. Like I got it out. And then, and I bowed and I said, okay, I'm all yours.
Yeah.
And boxing, punching has that power.
It does. There's a book called When Violence is the Answer. And it's about, it's not about being a bully. It's about how to handle yourself should you be attacked, or it's about feeling strong enough to defend yourself. If there's a lot of violence against women, there's a lot of violence against men as well. But in a very patriarchal society that we've slowly growing out of, it is women. I mean, there was a time when we couldn't even vote. There was a time that women, and to be a small, I'm 5'4" and I weigh about 110 pounds, and to be able to support, to defend myself, which is mainly what I train with my coach.
Awesome.
Feels very powerful.
It does. And same thing. I'm 5'4". I've gained some weight, but nonetheless, and that was the one thing. So learning Kempo, the first thing you learn is not to fight. Like it's very principled, it's very disciplined. And
how
so
to
the first
avoid it. It's the last answer. That's what the book is. It's the last answer.
And, which kind of reminds me of did you see Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze?
Of course I did. They're making a new one.
What?
Totally.
Oh my God.
Because I think the guy who plays Elvis is in that movie.
No way.
I think so.
I'm totally gonna look at that. But I love what he always says. Like he says, be nice, be nice, be nice, until it's time to not be nice.
Yep.
And it's exactly what it's the philosophy. It's like, okay, know your exit. Okay, run. And that was they always taught us in Kempo. Run, run, run. Know your exit, run, run, run. But if you have to, defend yourself. We're little. We still have that sense of duty to protect and want to make sure and to help others, and I don't, and animals, we love animals. And so, I don't know, maybe it's just the Gen X in us. I don't know.
I'm 51.
I'm 52. I had no idea. You look amazing.
Thank you very much. I think I was 29 years old when I first started working on Gilmore Girls as the
teenager. That's insane.
Listen, here's what I say. God, the universe, whatever, gave me a very difficult family life and upbringing, but gave me a hearty sip from the fountain of youth. Yes,
because I would have never known that was how old you were playing Madeline.
I'm pretty open about it.
But
again,
you look amazing. You look amazing. And staying fit, helps, and being happy, all of that is part of it. Yes, very much so. So that actually is a perfect segue. So you ready to do quick answer questions? Yes. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to hold up my phone so I'm going to be looking over here. So favorite food.
Are these Gilmore questions or me?
These are you. These are all you.
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes, okay. Favorite country to visit.
Italy.
Favorite word or words.
Monkey.
Is red leather, yellow leather still a thing?
Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather.
I'm assuming that's a yes.
It's an actor's. It's a.
I know. That's why I asked it. My roommate in the Air Force was a theater major, and she used to tell me about all of the silly things that they did in the hallways when they were warming up. And she said they would do like these breathing exercises, and it sounded like, and I'm like,
I don't do that.
Yes. And she said it, like, going to theater school, she said, was like the weirdest experience, but at the coolest experiences. So she's going
theater. You got to do all those vocal warm-ups because you got to project.
Right. Yeah. And so she taught me the red leather, yellow leather. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Favorite book.
The Little Prince.
Oh my God. I love that story. Oh my God. Oh, I love that. And then you run into a convenience store right now. What do you buy?
Gatorade.
Anything else? Gum? Candy?
Mm.
No? Just Gatorade?
Yeah, I like those little Japanese candies they sell at 7-Eleven these days.
I don't know those. I'll have to look
I
at
don't
that.
eat sweets much, but I do like that.
Very cool. So
Okay.
that and then my final question is,
That's it. I love rapid fire questions.
oh,
That's awesome. Okay.
okay, I'll keep going.
It's fine. It's fine. I think this rapid fire, rabbit. Oh my God, rapid. Red leather, yellow leather.
I was just gonna say that.
Those rapid fire questions are fun because they really like force you to be in the moment and not think.
Yes, that's exactly.
Or attempt it anyway.
Exactly. Cool. So favorite candy bar? That's also one of my favorite questions.
None.
Okay,
I
good
don't
to know.
eat candy bars.
I usually don't either, but so this is where I'm going with that. I do like almond joys, and I have been told that almond joy, apparently Jeffrey Dahmer, that was like his candy. And so anytime somebody says almond joy, they're like, that's a serial killer candy. And
If
I'm like,
if I had to eat one, it would probably be almond joy or Heath bar. Those are both probably if I had to choose.
love Heath bars.
Mm-hmm.
Those there's some, and a Heath bar could last me like seriously like 10 days because I just would bite off just like a little piece of it. Yeah, and just kind of let it melt in your mouth. Yeah. Well, I just have to say thank you so much. I could seriously talk with you for like 20 more hours, but I know you
Next
have
time
to
you
go.
come to town, let's make sure that we find some time. Maybe those girls live so far away from me. My goodness. Anyway, so yeah, but I would love to find some time.
That would be awesome. Shelly, thank you so much for being on the show. It was fabulous having you on, and I can't thank you enough. And thank you for sharing your story.
Absolutely my pleasure. All of the above.
Thank you so much. And so could you please send us off with my tagline, go forth and be magical?
Absolutely. Go forth and be magical. Always.